I was a patron of Shabana. Matter of fact, I revived Shabana. We went from the provincial league all the way to the nationwide league, and that's when other issues came up. Then I stepped out. There have been many questions whether I'm running for political seat and which seat am I going to run for in 2022. When I got back, I was really not very much interested into politics again. My passion is to keep empowering our people back home economically, and more so the women, more so the youths who are about to give up. Where we've reached, leave alone the youths, because the problem the youths in Kisii face are the same problems the youths in Kilifi will face, the same problems the youths in Odaya will face. So it's the same thing all over, and we are calling for our leaders. It's time to wake up and see that this youth thing is a ticking time bomb. The unemployment rate is very high. Youths are giving up. They are resulting into crime. What are we doing for them? So those are some of the things that are making me to consider running in 2022. But it's up to the people to advise me on which seat to run for. And as per now, I'm getting a rough idea of what most of people are telling me what I'll go for. We still have enough time between now and 2022. But there's this rallying call that we might have a new constitution. That's one of the things we are waiting, or I'm waiting rather, to see the referendum. What will it entail? Because we are hearing the devolved units will be shrunk to about 14 regional blocks. They're saying the number of constituencies might be reduced. They're saying the number of wards might be reduced. Some are also saying that they're going to create new positions to have a prime minister, 2 deputy prime ministers, and a ceremonial president. Let us wait and see what will come up. But my prayer is, let us not create positions to accommodate people. We will not be a country that every 10 years we have to go to a referendum. It means we are now experimenting with our constitution. Kenya is bigger than any individual. We found Kenya here, and we're going to leave Kenya here. So let us not experiment with our constitution. The US, they enacted their constitution many, many years back, and we've never heard them talking about of another referendum. At the moment, our debt to our GDP is 60%. A third world country at 60% the GDP, that's not right. For the US, I know it's much higher than that, but that's a big economy. They're able to pay their debts. But for Kenya, are we mortgaging our country to China? Next time we'll hear the Chinese have taken over our airports, have taken over our ports. I saw the other day, the Chinese are now selling mitumba. The Chinese are hawkers. Where are we headed to? We are talking of creating employment for our youths, creating opportunities for our youths. But here again, we are creating opportunities for the Chinese. I think we are losing it as a country. And let me tell you, the other day I heard of a revolution from a young man that, oh, we need a revolution. And let me tell you, it might happen. It might happen. You saw what happened in Sudan. We should never take Kenyans for granted. You saw what happened in 2007. Nobody ever thought that Kenyans can fight each other. But in 2007 it happened. So let us do things with sober minds, knowing that this country is a country of 45 million, not a few individuals. And these are some of the things that, even if you want to step out of politics, you find yourself, you have to be there in politics because of some of the things we are seeing that are not going right. We are making Kenya look like a country of individuals, yet it's bigger than that. And there's this thing that I used to hear Uhuru say that 10 years for him, 10 years for somebody else. Really, are you the one voting? Are you the 45 million people voting? Kenya cannot also be a country of 2 tribes. We are 42. I've not heard of people talking of rotation of presidency, this new constitution. Then after 10 years, we'll come back and say, no, this constitution is not working because we are not sober. If I was the president of Kenya today, the first thing I'll do is fight corruption on a serious level, not what we are saying these shows that we are seeing from DPP and DCI. Put on laws, very strict laws. Deny bails. They should not be bond for corruption. Be very strict on that. I'll start from there. It means now I'll stop the spillage of money to the wrong hands. The next thing I'll go is to create opportunities for the young people, because this Kenya belongs to them tomorrow. We see how to empower the young people. We have nations whereby once you complete your university level, your college level, if you have not gotten employment, they should be given some small stipend, because now looking for a job has become another job. How do you expect somebody to come from Busia to Nairobi for an interview? The youth is unemployed. How will he come here? They should be getting some small money. And it's not all the youths who need employment. There are some who are good in business. We should be giving them small loans. But right now we have those things like loans for the youths, whatever it is. But I've never seen it. Nobody has ever called me from my constituency telling me that I got a loan to do my business at a very good interest. I've never heard of it. Another thing I'll do is also to empower our women. Kenya as a nation is also not taking seriously our women, and they are the majority. You know, the funny thing is, if today as a man got 10,000 and a woman was given 10,000, the mama will go home with the 10. The man will go home with the 5,000. In between, some money has been spent somewhere. So we need to empower the women. Once we empower the women, we know that we're also empowering our children. Then infrastructure for any nation to develop. The number one thing has to be infrastructure. Number two has to be infrastructure. Number three has to be infrastructure. Yes, right now Kenya is trying. When I came back, I came across very good roads. Kenya is developing. But you see, we are building these roads at a rate that is not imaginable. A road that can be built for 20 billion, we are spending 40 billion. It means 20 billion is going to people's hands. And that's why I was talking about dealing with corruption. The standard gauge railway, what we used per kilometer is twice of what Tanzania is spending to do their standard gauge railway. Ethiopia, they did an SGR. Matter of fact, they have an electric train, but they spent much more less than what we spent. It means, again, money went to people's hands. So as we're doing this infrastructure, or as I'll be doing infrastructure, I'll make sure every single coin is accounted for. Another thing we need to end, or if I was the president, that I'll make sure I end, is what we call tribalism. There is imbalance in terms of employment here. The other day, the KRA commissioner retired in Njiraini. Who comes in? Another one from Central. Before Njiraini was there was Waweru. From where? From Central. Before Waweru, who was there? Another one from Central. Does it mean KRA, the only people who can manage KRA are from one region? Before we are done in 1 week, the CBK governor gets another term. From where? From Central. Before we rest, Munya, the Minister for Industrialization, appoints the MD for KEBS. From where? From Central. You see, there's that imbalance. We are making other Kenyans feel that they are not part of it. If I was there, I will not even put kisses. I'll make sure representation is equal as per the population, so that everybody feels inclusive. We had a handshake, and the handshake, we are told, was supposed to address the issue of inclusivity. But now the recent appointments we are seeing, they're not inclusive. I'm not saying Kisii as a population we are complaining. We are somehow well represented, but that KEBS position, who was there? Before that, the MD was a Kisii. They should have given to a Kisii or to another tribe, but not to one region. So the issue of imbalance, if I was there, I'll address it Seriously. If there's one place we have a bunch of jokers grouped together, is our parliament. Those are just a bunch of jokers. And I don't know how we end up electing these jokers. Imagine electing 100 or 150 jokers from all over the country. I don't know how they get there. For instance, we passed our constitution in 2010. We were given a timeline of enacting the laws. We've tried to enact most of those laws, but one is pending, the gender law. The gender bill is pending. High Court, in an application that was, the judge gave a mandama's order that within 60 days, that law has to be passed. To date, nothing has happened. And you know what the Constitution says? If we fail to enact those laws, which one is still pending, within a given period, then anybody can petition the Chief Justice, and the Chief Justice shall advise the President to dissolve Parliament. Nobody has gone yet to petition the Chief Justice, but I'm working on that application to take it to the Chief Justice to have that Parliament dissolved so that those jokers can go. I think now this is a new era. Kenyans are waking up. We get to elect serious representatives of the people. Parliament, they are now passing laws or bills that favor them. Not bills that favor mwananchi. Not bills that favor the downtrodden man there in the village. The other day, they passed allowances for themselves. The question is, when you are seeking the mandate of your voters to go to Parliament, didn't you know what your salary will be? Didn't you know what your allowances will be? Did you arrive there by accident? Then all over you realize that we need to increase our pay. We should be increasing pay for people like nurses, the teachers, but not the members of Parliament. Matter of fact, the members of Parliament should be the ones to be paid much less, because they went to the voters and said, I'll be there in Parliament to do A, B, C, D to change your lives. I'm calling for a more sober Parliament. I'm calling for a Parliament that will look at the people. I'm calling for a Parliament that will not be a tumbo Parliament. And if I was in that Parliament, the kind of bills I will agitate for, the kind of bills that I'll make sure that pass, are the bills that are going to help improve the lives of our people in the slums, in the villages. Those are the kind of bills. Kenyans are heavily taxed. We should have the kind of taxation where the rich are taxed more than the poor. The Senate, equally, which has slightly more sober people, but they're also sleeping on the job. Seriously, sleeping on the jobs. They're the ones who are supposed to be checking our counties. But I'm not seeing that happening. What mwananchi want is, if they're given mortgage, that's it. We don't see them increasing their salaries. We don't see them increasing their allowances. What I'm saying is, the house allowance for the speaker must be scrapped. The house allowance for the members of Parliament they're agitating, just that one forget. That one forget. We'll demonstrate the outside Parliament. That one forget. We hope for a people-friendly budget. Times are hard. The business community is crying. Money is not circulating. We hope that the budget that is going to be read is going to address some of those issues so that we can have now money trickling down from up to down. We want to see Nyamakima back in business. In Nyamakima, some years back, for you to get a shop, the kind of goodwill you will pay was enormous, ranging from 10 to 15 million. Right now, if you go to Nyamakima, you want a shop, you don't need goodwill because business community, they've closed their shops. Shops are closed there. So, I hope the budget that is going to be read, again, is going to favor these small business people, the small enterprises. So, we are hoping for a better 2019-2020 financial year to be better than where we've come from. Because what has been happening here in Kenya, we come out of a frying pan to a hot fire. Let us hope for the best. And some of these ministers, I'm not talking of only Rotich, who are implicated in scandals, if they are not able to step aside, Uhuru, my president, fire them. Let them go home. We have 45, we have so many Kenyans who are able to do that, so many of them. Why only those ones? Are there sacred cows in this war of corruption? Get them home. I don't know what Echesa did, but he was fired. But I never heard that he was involved in any corruption scandal. But this one's clearly that you can see, I mean, you don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that this person is deeply involved in this corruption scandal. Fire them. The other day, when you were addressing the nation, we expected you to do a reshuffle. We expected you to fire some ministers, but that never happened. Instead, what you said is, in this one corruption, let us not do vigilant justice. But I'm saying, you are becoming a coward. There has to be vigilant justice because we are the people who elected you in office. So when we say this is wrong, we know what we are saying. There are these rumor mills that were going around on the issue of the gold scandal, and in between, my name featured in one line. What am I saying is, there were rumors, because I've not seen any official document from any person that implicates me on the gold scandal. Now, based on that document, there is an official circulating in social media. Now, let me address it the way it is, although it's unofficial. They say that this issue of the gold involving the Dubai and Kenya started in 2017 August of 2018 August. In law, we have something called alibi. When that was happening, I was rather in unsafe hands of the Tanzanian authorities. So how was I able to be part of the conspiracy? While when the whole thing started, I was not there. Then when you read on that document, it further says that on 24th of August, that fellow called Ali from Dubai landed in Kenya. On the very day of 24th of August, 24th of December, I left for vacation to Mombasa with my family, where I stayed up to 11th of January. Really? When the whole thing starts, I'm not there. When the person comes here, I go to Mombasa. When he's in Nairobi, if there's that kind of business that alleges that I received 75 million Kenya shillings, that's a lot of money. That's enough for me to cancel a vacation and be here. And I hear the first batch of money was given in the beginning of January. I was not in Nairobi. Then that unofficial document further alleges that I received in February of this year 75 million. 75 million is a lot of money. Is a lot of it. That you expect when 75 million is exchanging, there should be some sort of contract. There should be some sort of some evidence, so that in case whatever you are trying to agree does not go through, you have something to prove that I gave this gentleman 75 million. I've not seen any document circulating in social media where I've signed receiving 75 million. I go ahead and say, I've not seen any video that shows I received 75 million. Our airports have security cameras. So I expect to see in February of 2019 this year, Don Bosco being at the airport receiving that kind of money. And I'll go ahead and challenge and say, leave alone, I don't need a camera to show that I received the money. Show me a camera that shows I was together with that gentleman who says that he gave me 75 million. I just need a camera to show us even standing together at the airport. Fine. Zahir is a businessman. He's from my home area. He's married to my niece. I know him. He was with me during my homecoming, my Thanksgiving in Kisii. We do meet as friends. We do meet as relatives. But saying that I met a fellow from Dubai, that has never happened this year. That never happened last year. Maybe it will happen from now onwards. But in the past, I've never met anybody from Dubai. And I go ahead and say, it's alleged that it was 400 million. I would love to see how this money, 400 million, came to Kenya. Through which bank? And which bank allowed somebody to withdraw that a lot of money in cash? There is no document to that effect. And that's why I'm saying, I'm reading politics into this. Nikiwa kwenye matatizo kule Tanzania, mambo mengi yalitokea. Kumbuka kipindi cha miaka 6 ni muda mrefu sana. Nimerudi, nimepata mabadiliko ni mengi Kenya hii. Nikiwa kule niweza kumpoteza mamangu, sikuweza kuhudhuria mazishi yake. Vile vile nilikuwa na rafiki yangu mmoja, kijana waziri mkuu mstaafu Raila Odinga, kijana yake Fidel Odinga, naye nilivorudi hayupo. Kweli alikuwa ni rafiki yangu, alikuwa ni rafiki mzuri sana. Hata sasa hivi kuna wakati unafika napata nimekerwa na jambo fulani, ama napata nimefika pali nahitaji usaidizi fulani. Hapo ndio nakumbuka nasema labda Fidel angekuwa hapa leo hii angeweza kutatua jambo hili. Alikuwa ni rafiki wa watu wengi sana. Sio mimi tu, alikuwa ni rafiki wa watu wengi sana. Alikuwa ni kijana ambaye alikuwa na roho nzuri sana. Alikuwa ni kijana ambaye hakuwa na matabaka. Leo hii ungempata yuko Kibira. Asubuhi yuko Kibira. Mchana utampata yuko na middle class. Jioni utampata amekaa tena na wafalme. Kwa hivyo hakuwa na tabaka kabisa. Na kiasi fulani unaona na yeye alikuwa na roho kama ya babake ya kupigania wanyonge. Mara mingi tukikaa na Fidel ulikuwa unapata simu anazozipokea kutoka Kibira, ungefikia ni mbunge. Hasa wakati shule zinafunguliwa, alikuwa analipia watoto wengi sana ada za shule, wengi sana ambao watu hawajui. Na nilikuwa naomba familia wangependa wawe na foundation kwa jina lake, ili wale watu walikuwa wanaofundishwa, wale vijana walikuwa wanaofundishwa na wengine waweze kuendelea kufaidika. Kazi nzuri ya Fidel iendelee kuonekana. Lakini kifo chake kimeleta hasara kubwa sana kwa wazazi wake, kwa mama yake. Najua mama yake alikuwa anampenda sana. Mama yake alikuwa anampenda sana. Najua pale alipo bado itamchukua muda kurecover kwa kumpoteza kijana wake. Vile hata sisi sasa hivi bado hatujaamini kwamba hayupo.